Yo, guys, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another Booty Boy Wrestling fan interview. My name is Donovan. It's been a long time since you've all seen me last. Today, I'm here with a special guest for round five interview. I have to do the math later. With the King of Chaos, Logan Black. How are you doing today, man?
I'm doing all right. Shouldn't we change the title of this instead of I mean, you're not quite a boy anymore. You're very much a man. Should it be Bootio's guy, Bootio's man, Bootio's
I mean,
fella?
I mean, we could, but like it rhymes with Bootio's boy.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, man. Like, you're seriously, you're fighting facial hair right now. Come on.
I do shave like once a week.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, I'll put a poll up on social media, and if people agree, then we'll change it. You'll have to share it though. So.
Of course.
So, how's it been since last time we talked? It's been over a year. What's changed? What's different? How's everything?
Oh man, what has changed? I don't know. Since the start of the pandemic, since the last time I talked with you, I'm a father now, which is lovely. Loving dad
Congratulations.
life. Just love, absolutely loving dad life. Could not be happier with that. Um, my wrestling school, T2T Wrestling Academy, has taken off. Is putting it lightly. My students in a bit over a year that we've been open, my guys are all over the place. They're on shows with me. They're on shows on their own. They're all over the place. I think just last week alone, I had representation over in New Jersey for shows, in Maine, in Massachusetts, Connecticut. My guys are getting out there, so it's that's really awesome to see. I'm also just all over the place. I think this coming weekend I'll be at Pro Wrestling Grind, and then also I'm wrestling at a ska and beer festival in Washington D.C. I am a huge fan of one of those things. I'll leave it up to everybody to figure out which one it is. Yeah, just keeping busy, enjoying dad life. Life is real good, man. I can't complain about nothing.
Now, you did mention that you're a father, so congratulations on that.
Thank you so much.
Now, what's it like to wrestle and be a father now than compared to when you weren't a father and you were just doing your shows constantly every weekend? How's it changed?
I mean, the schedule hasn't changed. If anything, it's picked up for some reason. I made a promise to my partner that I was like, yeah, once the baby comes, I won't reach out to any other promoters. I won't bother on anything. It'll literally just be whoever wants me and whoever I'm working for. And of course, I say that now. I don't reach out to anybody, but my schedule remains totally full in every way. The difference for me at this point is just like, you know, going out there and being on the road was always, it definitely, it's hard no matter what, and eats away at like your friendships, your relationships, regardless of anything. But knowing that there's a baby at home that relies on me and a partner at home that also kind of like relies on me to co-parent, it definitely has forced me to like, I want to say, rush home faster when I have the option, spend less time. Like, hey, if there's an option for me to make the drive back the same night, I'll do that. You know, you don't ever gain time back. Money will come and go, bookings will come and go. You don't ever get time back. So
Hmm.
like, I like to make sure that I'm spending as much time with my daughter as humanly possible, and in between everything that it is that I do, just trying to make sure that like I'm being about as active of a parent as I possibly can be.
Nice, nice. Now, another thing you mentioned as well is the T2T Wrestling Training Center, correct? I said it right?
That is correct.
All right, great.
That is
Um,
correct.
all right, sweet. Um, what made you open a school, and how is it being a trainer to people?
So I didn't open the school. There's a guy over here by the name of Tom Frazier. He's been a friend of mine for a while, and he had the idea of opening a school based around a wrestling promotion that he was a co-owner of. That whole wrestling promotion thing didn't work out for multiple reasons. Some of them really hilarious, some of them not so hilarious. But he was always wanting to open a school, and uh, he had mentioned to me literally like the September, or I mean, prior to that, but like as the pandemic was raging on, he's like, "Hey, I want to open this wrestling school," and I'm kind of just like, couldn't have picked a worse time for it. But he had the idea. He wanted to go along with it. We kept, really stringent COVID protocol, and we've been great over there. I've been training people for years, all over the place. Chris Benet, I can't amongst my students. Jay George was one of my earliest students. These are all people you can see all over the place right now. But I think, like, as a whole, the crew that I have here are some of the most motivated, hardworking kids. Like, all of them, every single one of them is trying to outwork the other, and it's kind of wild to see. I absolutely love it. So, like, this is absolutely invigorated me as somebody who enjoys training other people. It's invigorated my, want to do this, and reminded me why I love wrestling.
Now, what kind of stuff goes on at the training center? What do you have for equipment? I've seen it. Very
Torture.
nice looking center.
Torture equipment. We got the rack. We've got the Iron Maiden. No, so a lot of the stuff that we do, we have the space, and we share the space with a boxing gym. So the boxing gym has a lot of equipment that we use. A lot of the agility stuff that, like, you can get in the ring, but also at the same time, learning how to do box jumps and being able to, like, engage your legs to jump and work on the height of jumping. And we have all these punching bags, so we could all work on strikes with that. Honestly, it's no different from in terms of, like, the training itself. It's no different from, like, any other, like, good training center. I'm gonna say it's good, but the proof is in the pudding. Look at my kids everywhere. But I think the big thing that sets us apart from everywhere else is the fact that I think everything in pro wrestling that I hated when I was breaking in, or everything that, like, you watch Dark Side of the Ring, and they talk about all the awful stuff and breaking in, and the way that the egos and how awful people treat each other and how aggressive and violent and all that craziness. Every last bit of that stuff, I'm trying to do away with. So, like, the culture that we have does not permit that. If you come in and you have an attitude, you don't last very long. If you come in and you need others to motivate you, everybody there is going to cheer on every single move that you make. We just as an example, we have a Discord server specifically for the school and the students, for everybody to kind of just communicate with each other, and everybody to just stay chill with each other. And there's a specific section in there just for people to kind of, like, give props to other people at the school. Like, I know there's 2 new students who joined up like a month ago, and, like, people were talking about, hey, it's been great to see, like, how positive you guys are and how much fun you're having, and it really helps motivate everybody else. And you see that kind of stuff, and to me, I feel like, especially early on, you don't need a culture in wrestling schools or in pro wrestling where everybody is just angry at each other all the time and just mean. Like, just really just mean natured, I think, is what it comes down to. All the shit I dealt with, and other people have dealt with, just doing away with all that, keeping a real positive atmosphere, making sure everybody feels safe and secure, and being an inclusive space is another thing that I think is really important to me, is having inclusivity and making sure that everybody, regardless of race, religion, sexual preference, size, color, whatever you are, you're welcome in our 4 walls, as long as you're ready to work hard to show love. That's the best way I could put it.
Now, Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling, Western Mass Wrestling, bless you, by the way, or if you're just blowing your nose, bless you still. What was that?
I went on mute for you, so.
No, I know, and then it said Logan Black on mute.
Fantastic.
Pioneer Valley Pro Wrestling, Western Mass Wrestling. It was a co-event last Saturday here.
Oh yeah.
East Hampton. What was it like to be back? It was over 2 years, and now we're back and ready to go. Tell us about that.
And it's, you never know. And being somebody who has run shows before, you never know what you're going to get from a crowd or from an atmosphere when you've had, like, so much time pass by. I was hoping that PvP would be like the same atmosphere it used to be, and it blew away my expectations. I love that. I love PvP. I love the fans of PvP. I love Western Mass fans in general, because you guys have literally made me able to, like, pay my bills through wrestling. Like, I would not be able to do anything else at all had it not been for the exposure I got in Western Mass. But that PvP show was something else, man. Coming out, listening to the reaction, the crowd not letting Teddy and I like touch each other for the first 5 minutes of the match, just like chanting and being behind what we were doing. That's magical stuff, and you can't write that. You can't book that. You can't make that happen. That happens organically, and that to me is literally every single reason why I do this.
Now, what's it feel like to be adopted? Because you were recently adopted.
I was
Last
yes,
Saturday.
I am the Western Mass's adopted son. Listen, I've said this for ages about how much I absolutely just love the fan base out there, and again, there's no denying that like Massachusetts and part of Massachusetts and New York City, it's oil and water in a lot of cases. Especially if I was to walk in with a Yankee cap, I think I might be a little bit less loved.
This interview's over.
I'm not a Yankee fan, so don't worry about it. But no, I'm not a Met fan either. Chris Benet will get real upset for me saying that, but he knows the truth. He knows his team's a bunch of losers. I digress. Truth be told, again, like is all this contention, but like just based on the work that I'm putting out there and how hard that I work, and you guys noticed it before like any other spot did, before before New York, my home city, did, before New Jersey, before Chicago, DC, any of these other places that I work regularly. You guys were the first place to actually see that first and respond to it. So like there's always going to be so much love that I have for the Western Mass area.
Now, one thing I want to mention is now that you have another thing of students at your training center, there's a story that you should tell them about when selling their merchandise if they sell burned DVDs.
I don't think we should.
Just a thought, in case they ever sell DVDs on their merch table,
Well, I mean, I think it's a situation where they're not going to find many people as slick as you are to be able to play pranks like that, or people who literally see their freedom flash before their eyes in a split second.
I mean, now it would be okay because I'm 18, so back then I was.
Regardless of anything, I'm not looking to deal with anybody's, any nothing from nobody. But certainly, I'm sure they'll go about their fair share of pranks. I already know one of my students, who's a referee, was like talking to somebody, and like they threatened him with like something, like, "Oh, I'm going to tell people you did this, this, and that," and like he made the point of just like, "Well, you're saying it here, and I have it screenshotted, so like, who are you trying to fool?" And then they disappeared. Point is, don't try and scam somebody if you're not willing to like actually go through with it.
Now, another thing, and then after this question, we'll move on from last Saturday. Sure. I saw a couple of your students. I didn't go up and talk to them, but I saw a couple of students at Western Mass PvP last Saturday. Now, since the school is opened, have there been field trips when some of the trainees come up with you guys to the shows to see what they can experience? Or?
Yeah, literally anytime. And this is, again, the difference between where I was training prior and where I'm training now. When I let people know, hey, I'll be going here this weekend, I will have my inbox will blow up with students, and I'm like, hey, you got room in the car? Hey, you got room in the car? So every time I never travel alone anymore. It's very rare that like I'll ever travel alone. And if I do, it's usually because I'm doing like a double shot and people can't get off work. But like there's always that. And that there was my carload, which was myself, Delightful Dan, the goddamn Candyman, and Ref Nick Pierce, who all worked Blitzkrieg in Northampton Friday and Saturday. And then Indigo, she worked Let's Wrestle in Maine, drove back down to Western Mass to drive back with me. She was hanging out at the show. And then, who was the other one? Angelo Carter, who wrestled in Indiana Friday night, took a flight to Bradley Airport where I picked him up, came to do Blitzkrieg, as did Indigo. So they were all working that Blitzkrieg show. And then they all came to PvP to hang out. That was just my car. There was another car that offered to come down and help out with like setup and breakdown and all that. That was a whole crew of other kids. So again, these guys are all looking to get out there and work hard and put the effort in to, showing why they belong in professional wrestling and showing that they're willing to pay their dues.
Now, last time we talked, you had the home gym going on, the squat rack and everything like that. What's the deal with that? You still using it, or?
Oh yeah.
Now that
No, that's been my place for ages. Now that my daughter is in daycare, I'll usually stop by the gym over by her daycare to go work out. But like now, not only am I using this gym, but like my wrestling students who like live in Brooklyn and like are near the area, they use it too because it's like free access and they can just do as they please in there and not worry about anything else at like an actual gym. So I've had kids come through and work out here all the time. Like it's very much an open gym for like anybody who is interested in using it.
now, I don't know what exactly it was, but compared to your last match before COVID started to first match back after COVID's still going on, how did you feel compared to your last match to your first match back?
Are you talking strictly with PvP?
No, anywhere.
Oh man,
See if you can remember, because I don't.
No, I know my last match prior to COVID busting down. I think it was at Western Mass or PvP. I'm trying to remember.
I think it
feel like,
was.
yeah, I think that was the last booking before like the world shut down. And I remember again like very much like gung ho, straight up like I'm just going, which is no different than what I am now. But like the first match I had back after the pandemic had really hit, the scene was a lot different over here because the restrictions in like New York and New Jersey were so heavy that like a lot of what had changed up wasn't allowing either for fans to be there or like limited fans. I think the first show that I did was a taping without fans there. So that was a different vibe because you're wrestling, but there's nobody to react to anything that you're doing, which for some people is a normal indie show, but like for me that's a different experience. And being able to kind of okay, I'm not working for fans, I'm working for the cameras. Oh, this is TV, got it. And so it's just a different thing to kind of figure out and learn how to work. But you know me, I'm adaptable. I'll willing to do anything.
Now, what has changed in your mindset from before COVID to now?
I think we touched on in the beginning is time. You can't trade time, and time is priceless. So all that stuff, the grind of indie wrestling or just wrestling in general, sometimes you got to breathe. Sometimes you got to take it in. You got to respect, that, you never get time back. So it's okay. Like this weekend, I have nothing all weekend. I could go to shows and hang out and see what I can get. I could do a lot of things. I'm not going to. I'm so stoked to stay home. I'm going to go shopping at a flea market tomorrow, hang out with some friends. I'm going to go see my grandparents on Sunday. I'm so excited to actually live like a normal human life that it does not require me to like eat at, whatever like road stop there is at like 11 o'clock at night with like 4 hours left on a drive. I could respect and enjoy those other things. So if anything has changed in my, thought process, it's that respect the time that you have off. You work hard enough. There's always room to work harder, but also enjoy being able to like wake up on a Saturday morning and make breakfast for your family.
Yeah, I definitely get it. This is where I mentioned before we started recording my vastly underpreparedness comes into play. Now, you started the Year One podcast a little while ago.
Yeah.
Are you still doing that, or
so I'm here's what's going on with the Year One podcast. I was getting going with it. I was doing really well. I was getting numbers that I was really happy about. The interviews were great. I was getting great feedback. And then dad life takes over. So then I was like, all right, instead of every week, I'll do it every 2 weeks. And then, now again, my daughter is in daycare, and my Mondays and my Wednesdays, which are my training days, have become like 18-hour work days for me. So I don't have time to like get in and do interviews. The podcast is not over. I'm definitely planning on doing it. I plan on doing an episode. I might record it this weekend where I'm kind of like, hey, here's what I've been up to. We're not dead yet. I got a lot of people who like I've talked to, and they're very down to do interviews. It's just a matter of like I don't have the time to conduct them. And again, you know it as somebody who does something similar. Scheduling is scheduling can get quite hard. But again, for me, the podcast is not done. I loved doing it, loved everything about it. It's very time consuming, and it becomes really hard for me to like get those interviews in while also being like active with everything else that like I'm obligated to be active with.
Now, King of Chaos nickname. You've had it for a while now. Have you thought about switching it up to the King of Dads?
No, I've gone as Big Papa Punk is what I've used on like certain shows when people announcers like, all right, what do you want me to announce you as? And if I'm on like adult shows, I'll do like a way more a nickname that is more fitting for that. Otherwise, I'm like Big Papa Punk, the King of Chaos, Logan Black.
Now, is there anything that you would like to promote? Ask me before we wrap up here.
Oh, there's a ton of things I'd love to promote. Please stay tuned to the Year One Wrestling Podcast, number one pod on all social media. Stay tuned. Or if you're new to things, there's 80-something episodes. They're all really good. I put a lot of my heart into those, and a lot of the interviews are really great. It's an excellent resource for wrestling fans, and an even better resource for young wrestlers to get a glimpse of what it is breaking into the business. In addition to that, the T2T Wrestling Academy, you can find us. We're all over the place on social media. Again, if we want to talk about heart and soul, I put my heart and soul into every single session at T2T. The kids coming out of there are fantastic, and they're just starting to pick up steam. They're on like every show in the Northeast at this point. They're all over the place. And again, apparently Indiana too. I got kids in India wrestling in Indiana. So like, just stay tuned with those kids. Pay attention to the future of wrestling. It is very, very bright. The future is so bright, you got to wear shades. And then for me, I'm in the middle of like getting everything in order for merchandise stuff, because I had pulled away from Pro Wrestling Tees for their lack of ethics, and then pulled away from What a Maneuver due to their lack of ethics. So I got to figure out my own merch thing. But if you're looking to support me in any way, shape, or form, give me a follow on social media. And that's the best I could ask for right now. Seriously, all the kind words all matter so much to me. If you happen to be at a show, stop by the merch table and check things out. That's all. I think that's pretty much it for me in terms of things that I need to hype.
Anything you would like to ask me?
Anything that I like to ask you. How was the date?
It went well. It went really well.
Good, man.
Mm-hmm.
Good. And that girl, I saw the picture you posted. You asked the girl to the prom. It's the same girl or a different one?
Yeah, same girl.
There we go. See.
Ended up buying her a gecko last night.
A gecko.
So yeah. So
that's commitment right there.
Yeah, we have an animal together named Apollo. So.
Oh boy, you already got an animal together. Oh boy.
Well, thank you for your time, man. I really appreciate it. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Please remember to like, comment, share, subscribe, follow him on all our social medias, and stay tuned to the next interview. Peace out.